Right, it is 7 o'clock, so we are going to get started. Thank you, everybody, for finding time on a Monday night. We are in the thick of the preseason here. Appreciate you finding time. We've done this, oh man, a couple of times now. These beginning of the season coaching meetings after school, but now with Monday officially being a match day, depending on your game title you were playing, we thought we better move the start time back. So I feel bad for kind of moving in on your evening here, but I do appreciate you taking the time to meet and to connect to make sure everyone's on the up and up when it comes to this upcoming fall season. So I mentioned it a couple times. Again, if you just hopped on within the last minute or so, if you can please introduce yourself in the chat. I would love to know your name, school, your kind of day-to-day job or title, as well as how long you have been involved in esports. I would greatly appreciate it. Maggie and Meg, I'll be controlling the slide deck. If you guys can just watch the waiting room and make sure you are adding people in, that would be awesome. So thanks for doing that. As people are putting some info on the chat there. Oh, I just lost my screen. There we go. Feel free to say hi if you know somebody, if you have a connection there. I see a lot of names that I am familiar with and that have been participating in MHSEL for many years now. It's getting harder to put a name with a school because we are over like 200 schools now. But Maggie and I have been doing pretty good over the years. I think they're from this school. Yes, we got it. So appreciate everybody taking the time to do that. Just a couple of items here. This will not take the full hour by any means. I think we'll move along pretty quick here with our updates for the fall season. The Q&A is open, so as we are talking about things, whether it's Maggie, myself, our new team member Meg, or Rachel from Play Versus, feel free to pop questions in the Q&A. If you want to share an idea or comment on something, feel free to use the chat. So we'll, again, try to use the Q&A for actual questions about things you're hearing. But if you want to share an idea or comment on something, use the chat. And yes, we are recording this and we will share the slide deck out. So if you have an assistant coach that maybe you want to share this with, or for those who aren't hearing me talk right now, we will get this to them. So everybody has the important information. This is a meeting, so you should be able to even, if we need to, unmute to ask a question. If it's too hard to type out or whatever, that's fine. Your camera does not have to be on, but if you want to have your camera on, so you can put a name with the face with your fellow coaches, that's kind of a cool reason we do it on Zoom. So goals of today's session is to really just network, right, and grow our esports community. I mentioned putting a name with a face. I think it's always helpful at the beginning of the season to do that. Meet the staff behind the scenes as well as our advisory board. Double check important dates and reminders. Talk about where things stand on what game titles and what leagues and divisions and regional state leagues are going to run. Talk about some game day expectations and best practices, some hot topic items that typically are the questions we get each and every season. Some new curriculum opportunities, as well as just additional resources. And then, of course, we're going to leave time for questions, comments, and concerns. And then after all of that, we are going to hang out for just a few extra minutes with anybody who is a new coach or at least new to MHSEL. Maybe you've been coaching before esports and different leagues, but especially if you're new to MHSEL, we're going to ask that you hang tight at the very end. Just we want to make sure, again, that you guys are not unprepared for the season that's going to get started here. So really quick to introduce the team. My name is Ryan Casey. I've been with MHSEL for the last 4 years or so. With me is the other co-director, Maggie Helmer, who's been my partner in crime, and she's been doing this for all 5 years, going on 6 years. And then really exciting news last spring, we were able to add in another team member, Megan Luther, so we're kind of a 3 different headed monster, 3 co-directors, tri-directors. Is it tri-director instead of co-director? I don't know. But Meg is here as well. So chances are, if you reach out to either the info email at mhsel.org, or you're going to get some sort of communication, or you call or text, you're going to hear from myself, Maggie, or Meg, whether it's email, phone, text, Discord, that sort of thing. So we are the 3, and you can see our emails and our cell phone numbers on there. Feel free to reach out anytime if you have questions. I think that's one of the things that kind of separates us apart from others is this is what we do during the day, full time. So generally, you can get a hold of us just about any time that you need, and we can help you out of a jam or answer a question or get you to somebody who can get you that solution. We get to work with an awesome group of people that are on this page. This is our advisory board. So all of these people help represent you and your interests. Wherever you are located throughout the state, we have different region reps, plus we have various at-large positions. It's high school people, it's middle school people, we have a college representative. And so these are great people to know and get to know. And I would ask, if you are an advisory member on this call right now, if you could just drop in your maybe email or Discord handle, whichever you prefer. So people kind of say, like, Dave Drosky would be Region 3, and he would drop in, his email or his Discord or whatever that might be. And so that might be helpful, because throughout the season, they will probably reach out and just see how it's going. Usually, if you are a new coach, these are the first group of people that I connect you to, because they have been doing it. They've been doing it successfully. And so they are a great person to be a thought partner, to pick their brain. Hey, how do you do this when you're dealing with this issue? And because they've been doing it. Right. And so really appreciate our advisory board. They volunteer time after school throughout the year to help us shape policies, to help grow and expand and make our league the best league it can absolutely be. So big shout out to our board members. We also have some super coaches. These people are super coaches under the Play Versus umbrella, Play Versus being our platform partner to deliver our esports league. And so you can see their names and their emails there. We do have some of them are board members and super coaches, because they just like not having any free time, apparently. And then we have some additional super coaches as well. And so Michigan is a great place for esports, because we have such awesome people willing to help others out, to make the experience the best it can be. And so these are also good names of people. And throughout the slide, this meeting and all the slide decks, any of those people, they know this. I already talked to them already, but they might be answering a question on the Q&A or the chat. They might unmute and help answer a question better than what Maggie, or I will. And so please, those folks, feel free to do so. You don't have to wait for our permission. A couple of things we just want to point out to help stay connected. Number one, Discord. If you have no idea what Discord is, or you just know it's a thing you have kids that are using, on your teams or in your classes, it really is a very quick way to get connected with other coaches and to get answers to really quick questions. I'm a big email guy. I'm a former high school principal, which means I love email, right? And so I was hesitant to do the Discord thing a couple years ago, but I will say it is more efficient and faster to get a response to something, I have found, on Discord. Not that you have to do it, but if you do, we have some links that if you want to learn how to use those, you can. And then also I would ask that you check out our MHSCL YouTube channel. We started streaming some of our matches of the week. I'll talk about that a little later, to that channel. We post recordings of webinars, some kind of educational sessions will go on that channel. So if you can go to youtube.com/@the-MHSCL and subscribe and like the channel. Oh, I sound like one of those content creator guys my kids watch on YouTube all the time saying that. Oh, man, that hurts my soul to say that. But like and subscribe. So do that, please. Okay, I am now going to pause and turn it over to our newest MHSCL teammate, Meg. Go ahead, Meg.
Hi, everybody. Very happy to be here and join this super awesome and cool community. But we're going to go over some dates and reminders for you. We'll go to next, Ryan, when you have a sec. All right. So we're of course past a couple of these dates, but just so we can keep going through the list, we are almost through preseason, actually. So that's super wild. Some of you I know just joined. Some of you have been going through scrimmages, getting your teams set up. But just so everyone is aware, we have enrollment ending this Friday. So if you know of any people who are hesitant or waiting, or if there's any chatter with schools in your district or anything like that, please let them know they have a little bit more time, but not too much longer, to join our fall season. But regular season actually starts 1 week from now. And if you see in the little text at the bottom there, rescheduled match dates in honor of holidays. So we do have a couple of rematched dates. And if that applies, please make sure that your teams are aware of those dates. Playoffs, November 17th for high school only. If you are a middle school coach, that only applies to high school. Middle school coaches, it is super awesome. You have a non-competitive fall season, just to kind of get all of your students ready to go and used to this type of esports competition. And then hopefully you can join us next season in the spring where you can have that competitive aspect. So that is why playoffs are only applied to the high school teams, if you are new to that. And then, of course, our in-person championship event at MSU for our high school teams is December 6th this year. So we'll have more details coming out for that as we move through our season. But please, please, please mark your calendars.
About somewhere around week 2, week 3, we will push out. We should have week 3, I think Maggie says we should have playoff dates and we'll have the titles picked out. And so you'll know which rounds and which games are in person. So just give us a couple weeks to kind of finalize the numbers.
Awesome. And then moving into just some updated policies that are in place this year. If you are rejoining us, just a few things to be aware of. We do have modified rosters, and all of these, as we said too in the chat, and as Ryan and Maggie and I mentioned earlier, all this will be coming your way after the meeting. So these are all clickable links to learn more. But teams combining multiple schools from the same or different districts just have to reach out to us if there's a special circumstance where you do have to join in order to make a team and join a couple of different schools with players of those different schools. Just tell us the situation and we will walk you through it. Match rescheduling, that must be played within 48 hours of original match day before or after, or you risk having a forfeit. Of course, if there is something that is out of everybody's control, if something is going on, we will make it work. PlayVersus will make it work. But again, if it's just something where there's a schedule conflict or just something comes up and you need to reschedule your match reschedule game must be played within 48 hours of the original match day. Our in-person championship game titles, again, will be based on based on games with the most teams, most students. And again, as Ryan mentioned earlier, we will be releasing those titles as we move through and we have all of our teams and players enrolled and playing. We will let you guys know who will be in the championship game, which titles will be there. All right, going through some league updates now. So just to make everybody aware, our varsity divisions, our state divisions, and our Eastern Regional. So as you can see on the screen, our game titles are kind of divided up here. So our Super Smash Bros. Is in varsity and JV. Our state game titles are listed out there for you, meaning you will be connected to a school in Michigan. You'll be matched with another Michigan school playing against them. But for our Eastern Regional, my co-directors correct me if I am wrong with this one, but your Eastern Regional teams, if you're in any of those boxes for those titles, you may be connected with a Michigan school. However, Eastern Regional schools don't all necessarily have to be a Michigan school. So you may be connected with somebody outside of the state, but still considered in the region if you are a part of those titles specifically. But if you want more information on that, if you click on our links provided in the PowerPoint, as we've said, you can always read more about what that means. But pretty self-explanatory once you kind of click in and read a little. Okay, and for our high school coaches, this slide is for you. So all games starting at 4 p.m. Of course, making sure that everybody is set up and ready to go before that time. But all of the titles listed there, all of the days kind of separated out for you. You can see when the game titles are playing on which day, but all titles across the board starting at 4 p.m. Okay, and as I mentioned earlier, so middle school coaches, you guys having a more of a scholastic league, still learning, still playing, still having fun. But the competitive portion of that happening in the spring. So for the state middle school titles, 3:30 p.m. is the start time, Eastern Regional 4 p.m. So there's just a little bit of difference there. So please be aware of that depending on which title you are looking at.
And this is the first time. So Mario Kart, we got to run as a state league. We had enough for that, which was really exciting to see. So last spring, were really able to do the one title. Now we're at two. So it'll be exciting to see how middle school continues to grow across.
All right. And speaking of those titles, sorry, Brian, I know your mic kind of cut you off at the end there, but speaking of all those titles, they're all listed there. So which days they start and all of that good stuff. Our game info. Okay. Okay. I was like, I can move fast too. That's okay.
That was my bad. I didn't react you there. All right. Sorry. I was
all good.
All right.
All good. So I feel like this is just kind of more of a visual slide talking about which of those game titles are in which days. But again, the actual time breakdown of these titles, whether it's a state league or Eastern, is all here for you on which, if you're playing Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, if you're a middle school team. Our game information, this is one of my favorite slides we have in our slide decks, because when you click on whatever game title that you are playing with your team, it takes you directly to everything that you need with the equipment, what type of equipment you need, how much you're going to need, all of your tech needs, all that good stuff for middle school or high school. So on this slide, anything that you need to set up, you just click that picture of that game title, and it's going to take you to all the information that your team needs to make sure you are set up and ready to go in order to verse another team.
And just remember, for some of our new coaches, we'll talk about this at the end. Some of these will require additional online subscriptions, right? And there are some clever ways that coaches have figured out to bring those costs down, like through Nintendo's family. I don't know if it's family or home accounts or subscriptions. So we'll talk about some of that. If that is new to you, especially our new coaches, we can share that info at the end.
Perfect. And I know that we just had a question too in the chat about our unified league. So we are really, really grateful to partner once again with Special Olympics to form a unified esports league. So if you want more information on how to build an inclusive team at your school, this is a great time to do so. I believe we need some teams. We need some teams for our unified league. So if you are considering it, or if you're on the fence, if you are a returning coach and you want to give this a try, if this is going to be something new, we highly recommend it. It is a great experience, and anything that you need information-wise, we are here to help with that. Rachel can help with that as well on getting that started and getting up and running. But the game titles we just have one unified game title for middle school, which is Mario Kart. And for high school, that includes Mario Kart and Rocket League. All right. And then I believe I'm going to pass it over to Maggie to go over game day expectations.
Yes, perfect. Thanks so much. All right, everybody, all the fun stuff. So for your accounts for students, to make sure everybody is able to play and that you can verify your students, there is a list of students or titles, not students, I apologize, titles on your screen that actually require all players on the roster and bench to be connected. There are also some titles that do not need to be connected. So just be aware of that going into season.
And it is important because we have had people, it helps legitimize that people are who they say they are for playing purposes. We have had, unfortunately, instances where kids weren't who we thought they were, or somebody else is playing on their behalf with a different account, and it can lead to a forfeit. It can lead to a removal from the league. And obviously we want to avoid those types of situations. So
thanks, Ray. And just some best practices to be aware of, and some of our advisory board members and super coaches, please don't hesitate to unmute and hop in on any of these. The biggest thing here that we want to make sure everyone is having a positive season experience is communication. That is key here on honestly everything that is noted in the next 3 bullets is look ahead, communicate early, just make those connections ahead of time. Timeline is a minimum of 1 hour in advance to the actual match to connect with them. For high school, all titles is 3 p.m. Ryan, is that correct?
Question, I was reading the chat.
We've got time. Oh, 3 p.m. I got you. You updated the hour time. So by 3 p.m. you need to speak with them because matches start at 4. Middle school state is 3:30 to so you have to start communication by 2:30. Same for middle school regional, 4 p.m. start time, 3 p.m. minimum for communication. Again, we recommend earlier if at all possible. All start times are listed as noted, and communication must occur within 15 minutes of a match start time unless an extension has been requested in the lobby chat. The maximum extension allows up to 30 minutes past the start time. So again, this is just, we have teams that come, they're ready, they're prepared to play. We want to make sure that their opponents are ready and good to go as well so that you guys have the best experience on match day. And roster moves, as a reminder, players are allowed 1 match per week and can move between teams. This should be for scheduling reasons only and not to hide players. And just some notes about forfeits, the queue, and for our this fall season notes. Some of our biggest issues with forfeits has been some of the solo matches, so please just be aware of that. Communicate early if a player is not able to play that day. Try to reschedule. For the match queue, don't enter the queue unless you are ready to play. You have to remain in the queue until your game or a team is matched with you or you end up forfeiting. There are links listed there for joining the queue and reschedule protocol so that you have those resources easily available for you as you are going through the season. As a note for this fall season that is a little bit new, we have some new tiebreaker processes. Opponent match win percentage and opponent's match win percentage. We also have a few new best of formats to be aware of for multiple game titles this season. And the game books, the game rule books have been updated. So they are all linked there for your convenience. And now I'm passing it over to Ryan.
Back to me. So I will try and fly through these, and I'm going to hand it over to Rachel from Play Versus for a moment, and then we'll open it up to questions. So just something that's really important, as we know in traditional sports and other extracurricular activities, is we do want kids to come in with a certain expectation of our coaches and our kids, I should say, to have certain integrity for what we're trying to accomplish with this experience and through behavior and sportsmanship. And so last fall, we created a competitive integrity and behavior pledge. This is in addition to all of the things that you agree to when you're creating your Play Versus account as a coach and as a student. What I would ask that you do, this is not something we collect. It's not something that I says, has every kid said yes to, it's kind of the honest, method here, the honesty method in terms of just, I think it would be really helpful to print this off and just post it somewhere in your classroom, your lab, wherever you are playing, have the kids read it, go over it with them so they understand what is expected of them. Every year we have some sort of violation, I would assume, in some capacity of this pledge, which leads to usually a kid getting in trouble either by their own coach or by their own school or building or district or administration. Sometimes it comes to MHSEL or Play Versus, and then we have to have some sort of consequence involved, and that's not fun. We don't want to do that, right? We want this to be a great experience for everybody. And so I'm not going to read the whole thing. Can you guys see my screen? Did we shift to the Google Doc? Yeah. Okay. And so it's just a little checkbox. It talks about giving their best effort. They're going to honor your school with honor and grace. You're not going to do dishonest or malicious tactics to gain a competitive advantage. You're going to do your best to communicate. We're going to use appropriate language. And just understanding that by failing to do those things can result in a forfeit, a benching, discipline, removal from the league, right? And so it's just a good thing to go over with your kiddos if you can do that. And so I would just encourage you all to do so. We back on the slide deck, everybody. We can see slide now. All righty, cool. So again, preseason, I sound like a broken record. If for some reason you came in late, whether you're a veteran school at this or not, please use the preseason time to make sure your equipment is working properly, right? The Nintendo Switches get finicky, and filters get wonky sometimes. So if you go into week 1 and you haven't tested any of this out, and then you have to forfeit, that really sucks, right? It's not good for your kids. Are going to be bummed. The team you're playing, who is amped up to play, they're going to be bummed. They don't want to take a win from a forfeit, right? They would rather play against their opponent. So please try and get those in. Remember, you get a bye week every season, or a break week, if you will. You have to schedule that ahead of time. It shouldn't be like a last minute thing in week 7 all of a sudden, right? So check out your calendar. This is a bigger deal typically in the spring because of midwinter break and spring break. Substitutions with your players from the bench and whatnot is going to be different for every game. So please make sure that you go through the rule book and the match day protocol. And not that you have to be an expert on it, because that's a lot when you're covering a lot of games, but your kids should be. And you should hold your kids accountable. They should be reading that rule book and that match day protocol as part of their agreement to want to be on the team and be a player on your team. So make sure you guys understand that. And then finally, Playversus does a really, really good job, whether it's on Discord or that little orange button help ticket chat icon. I call it the help ticket. I don't know if we're still calling it that, Rachel, or not, but it's a good way that you can talk to a live customer care representative from Playversus, and usually within about 3 minutes, I think, is their time that they're able to get most issues resolved. If not, you have Meg, myself. We have the Discord channel. You have your super coaches, our board members. So usually between all of those people, we're able to usually solve a lot of issues, especially when it's right in the middle of a match getting ready to start, which can be hectic. So make sure you take us up on those options. Streaming. Last spring, we attempted to stream the matches of the week. So every week we kind of go through and look at fun matchups, whether it's west side of the state versus east side of the state, upper peninsula, lower peninsula. Sometimes we have 2 rivals, crosstown rivals in the same athletic league playing each other. That's fun to promote. And we'll go on social media. We'll highlight these in our weekly emails. But then what I will start doing is emailing those coaches to see if we can stream your match onto our YouTube live channel. One of the reasons we moved to YouTube Live, it was easier for us to be able to broadcast multiple matches at the same time. And so there's some links in here on how to get connected. Our board members, Cam and Jason from Heartland, did a really good job of running a webinar for us one day talking about the basic equipment you need to get up and running to stream. Again, this is a great thing that you don't have to become a master at because you've got enough on your plate. You will have kids that'll get super into this and will want to take the lead to help broadcast matches, maybe even shoutcast or do the play-by-play type of stuff. And so it's really fun to see that. A lot of our schools have their own YouTube channels, and I always send those to us because I want to know so I can help promote those. I like to click on them and watch, and I'll like and subscribe back to your channel. But that'll continue on, and we're going to hopefully try and build this out so we can get a lot of followers and just everyone can see your cool match, right? I know it's hard. You're not playing in the middle of the football field or the basketball court, volleyball court. So it's hard for mom and dad and grandpa and grandma and their friends to be able to watch. So doing that through our YouTube channel is a great way to do so. We will continue to once again have our esports awards. In the fall, remember, we only do all league and all state. That's a seasonal award. Once spring gets here, we will then also incorporate Player of the Year and Coach of the Year for the different game titles. And so that's a really, really cool thing that's unique to our league. I know the players and coaches appreciate it. I think the families and parents appreciate it. So you can see some of our past winners of different awards on the screen. So we'll send out info to you guys when nominations can open up and when the due dates are for all those items. And finally, if you are an educator and you are in need of some sketchies, we have a free 2 sketchy course, which is hosted on the Michigan Virtual PLP catalog. So there's the link there, the bit.ly link that'll kind of cover benefits of esports, as well as a little bit about our league. And again, 2 free sketchies if you are interested in that. Okay, I am going to pass it along to Rachel to talk about some curriculum opportunities. This is something that I know I fielded a ton of questions over the last few years. We're starting to see more and more schools just tap into the popularity of esports and gaming to do some elective courses. And so Playversus has a unique opportunity to be able to support some of those interests. So go ahead, Rachel. I will
Awesome.
click
Hi,
for you.
everyone. Perfect. Hi, everyone. You may have seen the news over the summer that we actually acquired two different esports companies, and one of those was Generation Esports, who had this curriculum called Gaming Concepts. It is written by former educators, former principals, and they are now on the Playversus team. So we've retained that entire team, and now these curriculum opportunities are available for your schools. Our curriculum is not a free product. It is a paid product, but a very reasonable price. So just wanted to throw that out there. Our competition is going to continue to remain free. Our curriculum is a paid service. So we've got a wide variety. Not even ready for this slide deck is our elementary curriculum that we're just up and going. But what is ready to go is our middle school curriculum. So our middle school course can be used over a semester or a full year. It is completely scripted out, but meant to be modular and flexible for you so that you can implement it in the best way possible. We see this used in intro to technology courses, careers courses, or some schools even have or want to have an esports class, designated class. So middle school, we've got you covered. If you want to learn more, definitely book a meeting with me. We can talk about this. I know October is kind of that time where schools are starting to vet their curriculum for the next year. So let's set up a meeting and let's learn more together and see how this could be a good fit for your middle school. We can go to the next slide. Our high school is more built out. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different courses there. All of them, again, can be used semester or year long, completely scripted out. So any teacher who's unfamiliar with gaming can teach this. Our fundamentals course is kind of that esports 101 course. That one can be bumped down to like 8th grade as well. That one can be used, again, an elective, an esports specific class, a careers a class for kind of those underclassmen. Fundamentals is a great one there. The rest of them, I kind of describe them as like our 2.0 courses. So they're going to be just kind of that next level into the gaming world. And they're not just specific to esports. They are all encompassing of esports careers or careers in the gaming field. They are also aligned, and I have state standard alignments here I'll share, to many CTE courses. So you do not have to come up with a brand new course. I know that is such a just its own process. So if you have an existing course that you're looking to revamp, consider interactive media. Consider our computer applications course. Every school has to have a computer applications course. Why don't we teach it through the lens of esports? Our streaming course is actually aligned with speech class. So if your speech class needs a little revamp, kids want to be streamers. Like Ryan said earlier, you put a phone in their hand and they want to learn how to stream. And then shoutcasting as well. So if that is of interest to you, shoutcasting is actually aligned with journalism standards and journalism classes. So we can find a fit for you. I'm going to, in the chat, drop in our standards alignments for Michigan. And again, book a meeting with me, pull your principal or any curriculum directors in, and we can dive deeper and show you what this looks like. But we're super, super excited. We've got a couple Michigan districts on board already. And so if you want to be connected with them who bought the curriculum over the summer and are implementing it this fall, let me know and I can connect you so you can ask the right questions. Awesome. I think that's it. I'm handing it back to Ryan.
Okay, and again, I'm not covering all these. Just know that there are links in this slide deck that'll walk you through. You can get to all of these from the dashboard. There's ways to get there quickly when you're logged into playversus.com, but just anything you might need related to these topics, these are all links embedded. Again, we talked about rule books already once, game day protocols for each game, just trying to make it easy so you can find that all in one spot. And then there is Rachel's information. So Rachel is awesome. She is a fast reply on email. Usually if the MHSAL team doesn't know how to answer the question, we kick it to her. And if she doesn't know, she will get us an answer. So we appreciate Rachel being on the meeting today. So tonight, I should say. So thanks, Rachel. And I think Meg is going to take us home here.
Yes. So with all of this being said and us kind of getting our teams ready, getting all of our learning in, getting connected, making sure our equipment works, doing all of the things, right? Just to like start competition and to start play like all the things for this season. We want to keep this in mind, this quote, no matter the results, when students compete, school culture always wins. So the fact that all of you are here, the fact that we are even getting this up and running again for, I believe this is the sixth year that we're doing sixth. Okay. Our sixth year. You all that are returning, you know, this is a great return that we get with our students and how connected they are and how it's such a cool involvement piece for the school. If you are new to this, we really hope that you get to see that going through your first year and then you keep coming back. So we're very excited for this fall 25 season and to see where all of this takes us. But before we fully close and wait to just talk to our new coaches here for a little bit, does anybody have any dying questions right now for us to ask before we let all the returning coaches to their night?
It
Okay,
looks like we need a verification. Ryan, are you able to provide that? And for Ben, just some questions about Rocket League. Ben, go ahead.
I don't know if it's okay to unmute.
Yes, of course.
Also, I don't know if my video was on, but I was cooking. But um, um, we're trying to get started with the Rocket League at Holly Middle School. But there were a couple things because I don't really know that much about Rocket League, but I know there were a lot of students who were interested in it. But when I went on Playverse, it said that it was 13 and up for Epic because of Epic, Epic accounts. Um, and there's no workaround with that because I just had a lot of sixth and seventh graders who were interested in joining a Rocket League team.
Unfortunately, and Rachel, correct me if I'm wrong, that because it is a publisher rule, there are other leagues that'll run it without, and they'll go and kind of skirt that rule because we operate with official publisher agreements. Like we are approved to play these games with a league within a championship series. We have to kind of do it by the book. So unfortunately, that is the one downside about yay Rocket League for middle school, but it's really 13 and up. And that's still the case, correct, Rachel, as far as you know?
That's correct. It is a publisher rule. It is a Psionics rule for their community tournaments, which Playversus counts as. So unfortunately, we do have to stick to that. We don't have a way around that. Hoping in the future we could maybe borrow some of the technology that Generation Esports had with anonymous rosters. It's on the docket, not ready for this fall. So hopefully we'll have an announcement in the future, but for this fall, 13 and up.
Okay. And then again, because I'm starting this new for the first time, I'm used to just dealing with like switches with Mario Kart and Smash. I don't really know the whole like how to connect with Epic, if the students are bringing in their own accounts or if we're supposed to be bringing in accounts. This is just my first time doing Rocket League, so.
I don't, Sherry or Chris or Dave, or any others wanna that roll with some of those teams wanna talk what you normally do?
I
Chris?
can. Oh, Chris, go ahead.
So either one.
Oh, I should let Sherry talk. Her students are way better at Rocket League than mine are. But yeah, no, what I would say, Ben, is assuming that the kids have Epic accounts already because they play Rocket League, which is basically a requirement, especially if you're dealing with middle school kids. It's been owned by Epic for a while now, so they likely already have them. They're going to want to log in on their own Epic accounts. It'll be up to you then to figure out if those Epic accounts have acceptable usernames. You might need some of them to change usernames first. But you'll just have to kind of give them the glance over. And the same way that the kids would add their friend codes to play VS, you add their Epic account info under game connections for Playversus. That's under like the settings profile. I'm assuming you have devices at your school that can play Rocket League.
We have computers. Actually, that was the big reason why we wanted to do it because we just got new like gaming computers. And also like the Rocket League is played in teams of three with one person per computer. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah. In general, you need a okay computer to play Rocket League. Like my school, for example, we can't play Rocket League on our computers at school. Like just doesn't work. So it's good that you have computers that can play it. So you'll just want to download the Epic client on those computers. It's free. You can let the kids log in on their accounts. Once it's installed, Rocket League as a game is installed on the computer. It kind of just sits on the computer hiding behind an Epic login. So anyone with an Epic login could come in and play it. So you would just have to personally police, like who's logging in, who's playing them. So hopefully your tech department has some clues on how to like kind of monitor who's
Yeah.
going in and out on those PCs. But it's really simple when it comes to just getting it installed and playing it. A lot of kids also prefer to play it with a controller they might bring from their house, like an Xbox control, and they'll just plug it in with like a USB. So they might know how to do that already.
And some might play instead through Epic through a Steam account. That's
Probably not at middle school, Ryan.
yeah,
but
probably not. I guess middle school.
it's
You're right.
it's
No,
only the old heads that still
You're right.
come in with a Steam login like me. But yeah, if they're middle school kids, it's been owned by Epic for quite a few years now. So unless they were playing Rocket League when they were like 5 on Steam, it's highly unlikely. They probably have an Epic account.
Okay.
Keep the questions coming. I am going to they had Meg and Maggie had asked me in the beginning to launch a poll about it when we do future meetings, or sometimes we do some educational sessions and we learn from people. I know Coach Danielson had a great session last year on fundraising. We used to do a lot of these on Mondays after school because there were no matches. It was a scrimmage day. We would do them at either 3, 3:30, or 4. So I'm just curious, future meetings, webinars, is there a day of the week that you would prefer? You can select more than one. Don't select one that you don't want, obviously. Would you prefer evenings versus after school? This will help kind of shape our, kind of decisions going forward. But please have the questions keep coming. If there aren't a whole lot of questions and you think you got everything you need at this point in time, you are welcome to log off. I do want the new coaches for some of those questions that we can hopefully answer, like what Ben just had there, that we can do that. And hopefully I can con some of our board members or super coaches to stay on with us so they could answer the questions better than I can. Appreciate you guys giving up your time to be here. Have a great rest of the preseason. Have a great regular season. And we'll see some of you at Michigan State on December 6th. But feel free to keep the questions coming while we're waiting to talk to our new coaches.
Hey, Ryan, I just have a quick question here. My students were really concerned with Rivals that they couldn't use their skins that they have, and I was like, if I ever get in contact with them, I'll ask them what the reason was for implementing the new rule. So like, I told them it was probably to avoid confusion to see like who they're versing on the enemy team, but I don't know if there was another reason behind it.
I can speak to that a little bit.
Go ahead, Rachel Perez. I wasn't sure if that was a play versus one or whatever. So go ahead.
Play versus one, it kind of dealt more with appropriateness.
Okay.
Just kind of we had some concerns from coaches that, hey, some of those skins are not school age appropriate, even though it is rated T. And so we just kind of nipped it in the bud there. Sorry to your students. I'm sure they did have super cool skins, but this was just our easiest way to kind of across the board make it a little bit more school appropriate.
Cool. I'll let them know. Thank you.
Okay. So again, everybody, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for hopping on. You're welcome to stay and answer questions, ask questions, and hopefully we'll answer them. Otherwise, we are going to just kind of switch gears and check in on our new coaches. So for our new coaches, again, you might not be new to esports. You might just be new to MHSEL. Maybe you are brand new to all this. Some of you are probably gamers, and maybe this isn't that big of a stretch. Others don't play video games or haven't played video games since like maybe Donkey Kong or something, but you just have a bleeding heart because kids came to you and said, hey, Miss So-and-so or Mr. So-and-so, will you please help us do esports, right? And I know even our board members who are experts, a lot of them started that way, and they are complete experts in all these games now. So you'll get there. But we just want to check in and see how's it going. Are you able to get in some of your preseason matches? Are you struggling with equipment? Do you have questions about multiple teams playing in the same game title? Figuring out varsity for JV? Are you worried about, do you have to make cuts and are you not sure how to do that? Those types of questions. I have some links in here. If you still are not really sure where to click on things on the Play Versus dashboard, we have a nice little video recording one of our middle school board reps created for us last spring. We can answer questions related to pre-match, during, and post-match kind of instructions and protocols. We can talk about tech support, but we just wanted to help get you guys up and running so you are good, and you can absolutely unmute and ask a question if that's easier. I see one in the chat. Coach Jenna, do students have to make their own accounts on Play Versus using the invite, and then can I add them to rosters? So I think you're talking about the process for actually getting kids to be added to your team. I know most people just put a link out and have the kids join that way, but I don't know, Sherry or Chris, whoever else I see on the screen, Dave, anybody want to pop in?
I can take that one too.
Yeah, either one, sure.
Students need their own Play Versus account. You have a couple different options of doing that. You can, on your My School tab, invite the players using a specific link to your school, or they can just go to playversus.com and sign up for an account there. It's the same exact process. It gets them in the same spot. From there, once the student signs up, then they will show up on your players tab under My School, and you have to verify them. That makes sure that there's no creepy weirdos trying to join your school, and it's who you talk to and the students that you know are going to join. Once they are verified, you can add them to the roster.
Then the next thing you're going to want to do is have them go to their name and go to connections and then put in their account for whatever it is, that title that they're going to play. Because you won't be able to play a game unless all of your kids are in and they have their connections in there. So for example, they're going to do Marvel Rivals or whatever, they got to make sure they put in the same account. And we ran into some problems last year because I had kids that were playing Marvel Rivals on their PS5 or their Xbox, but then we play on PC at school, so it was like a different account, so it looked like they were a different person. So I was trying to communicate that to the coaches. So just be very aware when they set those connections that they're connecting to the right name. But you want to do that as soon as they join so that you don't have those headaches, at 3:30 when you have a match at 4.
Yep.
And they can only change it once per season too. So if they lose a password or something, so like create a new account, they can't be changing their names and that type of thing. The only one that gets a little confusing for me was Rocket League, where their game accounts are still linked, but they did change their names, but they could still get the invite in a Rocket League game. So as long as they can get the invite, it's the same player. That was the one that got a little, like, I questioned it because the names weren't the same, but they got the invite. So I'm like, oh, wait, we're good on that one. But yeah, definitely make sure those connections are there.
And a lot of the kids will have their passwords already programmed into their PlayStation, especially like freshmen. It's probably their parents' account, so they might not even know their password. So you got to get that kind of right away. Otherwise, you're going to run into problems on a game day.
All right. I see Christina had a question. And it looks like Rachel answered. If I understand it, you kind of like a basketball team, right? Is that what you're saying? Like you want to have 12 students on one, and then you could throw them to either of, like if you're carrying 2 teams of Valorant, for example, you have 12 kids, you'd just be able to divide them as you see fit. Maybe I don't understand the question.
No, Ryan, you nailed it right on the head, because we've got Super Smash Brothers Ultimate, and we're in our now second year of this, which we are just thrilled that we have more than 3 kids show up in, on any given weekday. We had at one point 20 students rostered for middle school esports, and I thought I was going to pull my teacher hair out at the end of the night. But hey, I am out in the middle of the cornfields. I am super excited that I have 20 kids that want to do esports. And we would love for all of them to play against other teams. But when they're tied to like one team, I can't put them on another team from the roster that they're on. So I would love to see a way where I had one main roster and then I could just be like, all right, you three, you're on team A, you three, you're on team B, you three, you're on team C, and then just let them go until the end of the night.
Good. Sherry, yeah, go ahead.
You should be able to
Oh, you
take them
could do
off.
that.
Yes, I did it last week and I did it tonight. I was taking kids off rosters and putting them on a different, actually I was taking them off rosters because their accounts weren't connected and I couldn't join the queue. But with your Smash team, you should be able to take and move them around to different Smash teams. So if I had 3 Smash teams last week and we weren't sure who was going to be on what team since it was the preseason, I just set up 3 teams. And then when it came time to play, we moved the kids around before game time. Not after, obviously, but we did it. And you can do that each week as long as they don't play on 2 teams the same week of Smash.
See, when we tried to do it last year, it wouldn't let me move them off of like the team that they were already locked on.
Is it a possible like middle school related restriction? I wonder.
I don't know.
Somebody have to
You
look.
have to take them
It
off the
shouldn't be
first
they're
team.
all Super Smash. Like the kids were asking me if we were going to run a different game game title this year, and I told them no.
Dave was saying you have to take them off. You have to delete them first so that you can
Okay.
add them to another team.
And
Okay.
what I found is as soon as you delete a kid, refresh your page, because sometimes you'll take the kid out and then you go to add them in a different team, they're not there, but you refresh the page and all of a sudden they're there. So delete them off whatever team you want to move them from, and then refresh your page, and you should be able to move them to a different team.
Okay, that's super helpful because I think heading into this week, for sure, we have 4 switches that we could be running 4 teams on. And right now I've only got 1 team set up because we couldn't move kids around before. So that helps a ton.
Are you middle school or high school?
Middle school.
Okay. Yeah, you should be able to run multiple teams. There's no varsity JV for middle school, right, Ryan?
No.
Okay. Yeah, then you should be able
Definitely.
to like Sherry said.
No, high school was a lot tighter, and we only had like 6 high schoolers that wanted to play last year. And I was like, all right, I'm here for it. But that was 2 nights of my week that were back to back for esports. And then I also volunteer for, I advise girls who code after school on Fridays. So this year I was like, you guys need to find somebody else for high school because I need one of my nights back.
Absolutely. All right, good. Thanks. Good question. I see Nathaniel asked about, does MHSAO have a recommended packet to give to new students and help give them information about esports, competition prep, behavior guidance, or most of it on the school? We do not, but we have a lot of stuff, and that's actually a really good idea. I could absolutely put something together. I know Play Versus has a lot of resources related to like setting students up for success and coaches and programs and teams. But when we used to kind of run our own little like league when we were really small, kind of piloting this stuff, we put together like a little mini curriculum that was on like some of that type of stuff. So I'm going to make a note, Nathaniel, to connect with you. Say student packet. I see Donald's hand is up. Go ahead.
Hey, I got a few different questions.
Yeah, sure.
So myself and my co-coach are both here. We are excited to do this. We're completely new to everything. I have the Play Versus thing all set up. Does it matter what we name our teams? Because I was actually going to start getting kids registered for teams. It's like, name your teams. Like, does it matter? Is it just New Haven Mario Kart 1, New Haven Mario Kart 2? Do I come up with a unique name for it?
Whatever helps you stay organized. I mean, selfishly, it's easier for me to track them if it's not like, oh gosh, you should see some of the names we got in here. I mean, they're like what? But a very common practice is they'll be like New Haven Smash Green, New Haven Smash. Is it white, green and white? No.
Yeah, that's it.
Right. See, and so that you'll see that like the color theme. You doesn't have to. You can name yourself the Chili Peppers or whatever. I mean, you'd be surprised. So, but whatever makes sense in your head. Sometimes they let the kids pick and the kids have fun with it. Right, coming up with their team name as long as it's appropriate, you can do that too.
Cool. Mario Kart, I saw his teams of 4. We currently have 9 kids interested in racing. So could we, I think you already answered this kind of, but we can change the different teams each week if we want to. So like these 4 are racing this week on Team A, these four racing this week on Team B? Can you do it that way? Because is it the teams that advance or is it the individual students?
It is the team that advanced. So I would do it for like, usually we do it for like a scheduling reason. And not, we've had to have this issue in the past where people do it because they're like trying to hide their best players when they're playing a really good team and they don't want to show
Okay.
their best stuff. So don't do it for those purposes. Usually it's because Susie or Timmy has a dentist appointment at the one rescheduled time, so they can't play at that time. They can only play this time over here. I don't,
Okay.
others advisory board members feel free to chime in on that, but it is the team record that is going to be the one who qualifies for playoffs.
So try to keep the same people on the teams at all times if possible.
Put your best people on one team and then have your second best on the second team and then have weekly matches where they can challenge to see who's going to play. Because then that keeps your best players best. And then you're developing a really, really, really good team.
Okay, that makes sense. We're still waiting to get our internet connected. So we're hoping it's gonna be connected this week because they have to set up something special to get through the firewall, and we were told to be done this week. It might not be done till next week, but we're trying. The last thing is, so I saw that the final day to register everything is this Friday, which is fine. Does that mean getting all the kids registered and everything registered by this Friday for the season? Is that the deadline? Just so I know what we're working with.
It is to have the teams enrolled. So those empty shells of teams, have those
Okay.
enrolled by Friday. Even if you
Okay.
can't play next week, you have a couple options. You can set your break week for that first week. You'll get an automatic
Okay.
bye. And our system is set up so that your very first match, you're going to join the match queue. So that means you don't know who your opponent is until match time. With that being said, if you can't play another week, no one is left in the lurch. So you have a little bit of time. You can have 2 forfeits per team and still be eligible for playoffs. So if you can't join until October, all you're doing is collecting forfeits, and we're not going to kick you out of the league. You just won't be eligible for playoffs.
Okay.
So if you
I
view
think
this
that's
very first season kind of as a, hey, we're getting up and running, this is our ramp up season, that's okay. And I think students will understand that.
Okay.
What games
I
are you
think it's
playing?
everything. We're doing Mario Kart and Smash. So the school is able to get us 3 switches, 3 different TVs, and we plan on doing both. I saw that Mario Kart is on Thursdays, Smash is on Wednesdays. We have less kids for Smash, I think. I think we might be able to do 2 teams of varsity and a JV. And then Mario Kart, I think we're going to have 2 teams, maybe 3, but I think at least 2.
So they don't have internet in the room right now that you're doing this in?
There is internet, but it's not broken through the firewall. So once in a while, it will just block us. So they have something special that they're setting up for us where it's just going to connect straight to, it's going to bypass the firewall. They already have the server box in the room. Our IT guy just has to finish the process, but it's the 3rd week
Okay.
of school. So they're still trying to get Chromebooks and everything squared away
Okay.
too.
I was just going to suggest we have a hub that we can hook 4 switches to, and that's what we're using. That
Yeah.
one port then allows it to be open up. He only had to do the one port for the internet. Anytime your IT guy wants to reach out, I'm sure a lot of us coaches, our IT guys have already gone through all this, so feel free to reach out to one of us. We'll get our IT people in touch with whoever. But that's how we use our switches, is with that hub. It works the best so far for us.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Thank you.
All right. We are right at just about 8 o'clock. I'm happy to sit around and answer a few more questions, but I do want to make sure that some of you have kids to put to bed or football to watch can go do so. I appreciate everybody hanging out and the board members staying longer and helping answer questions, and our super coaches really appreciate it. Thank you, Rachel, for joining us as well. Again, new coaches, feel free. I'll hang on a little longer and answer what I can. If you have any questions, get those matches in this week. Check out your tech if you can. And I'm really excited to have you guys participate this fall. I think your kids are going to love it. We have, according to what Rachel has told me at Play Versus, Michigan has, I think, the highest rate of returning schools, meaning each season, meaning that people have a good time and they get their matches in. And I think it's a good experience. And so we want to keep that going for you all. So.
Hey, Ryan, real quick. I put it in the chat, but please feel free to message me. We have our own Muskegon League,
Yes.
and next Saturday, the 27th, we're hosting a showcase, and it's really meant for new people who are brand new to esports and or school districts that are thinking about esports. I realize Muskegon's a long drive for a lot of people, but we'll have Nintendo titles set up. We're going to do, I think, Marvel Rivals and Fortnite and Rocket League. So your kids can jump in and play friendlies. I'll have my shoutcasting studio open so they can experiment with shoutcasting, but we're going to just do Smash for shoutcasting. But anyway, it's a good morning. We're going to have a couple college coaches there as well. So again, just message me if you want more information, and Ryan and Maggie have that as well. So especially for new people, it would be a very good morning because you'll meet a bunch of coaches who've been there and done that. And it's the Lakeshore. It's a nice time of the year.
Thanks, Dave. Awesome. Cool. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it. I'm just checking the chat. I don't see any questions there. So, okay. And again, if you didn't have, or you think of something later, shoot us an email, hit us up on Discord, and we will get those answered. So thanks for your time, everybody.